still upset you didn't see cats.
I need to see cats. Do I walk into this, or do I just...
Like, serious? Move that chair and fucking jump over the couch into the spot.
I don't trust myself, Jake. What if I just like poof in?
That's pretty good.
Okay, ready? Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Brandon. This is not my usual intro, but I'm trying something different for once in my life. So this is just a little bit of an update and a Q&A video. The update basically is, as some of you may know, I'm a professional actor, and I've been in a show since pretty much Christmas. So life has been sort of split in between working for Marquez, working on this channel, working on Patreon, and doing a show at the same time. So it's been, you know, a lot of changing hats and relying on Jake to not kill me in the process. But point is, next week is the end of that run. So after that point, I'm back to this pretty much full force. Other than that, a lot of videos are dropping. A lot of new stuff is also in the works too, which I'm very excited about. And besides that, you know, Patreon is going through a lot of shifts. We're about to go into Patreon V2 very soon, which is super exciting. So stay tuned for that. But I think, you know, that's pretty much it for the updates. You know, point is, a lot more is happening, a lot more is changing, and a lot of good stuff is in the works. Okay, so let's go into question 1 on the Patreon Discord.
So from Jackson Hayes on our Patreon's Discord, if you had to choose, would you give up your Red or your Tesla?
If I'm speaking from a business sense, I think I'd keep my Red so that I could afford to buy another Tesla in the future. Or I could just become a full-time Uber driver, keep my Tesla, and then buy a Red later on.
You can shoot video with your Tesla. You can't drive your Red.
Why do you have to make it complicated, Jake?
What are your favorite lenses for video?
Probably my Helios lens. I love my Helios lens, and it's probably the cheapest lens that I own too. But it's so fun to use. It's vintage. It's buttery. It's like, you know, it has scratches and it has issues, but like it has so much more character because of it. Favorite Nintendo Switch game? I'm gonna say Mario Kart. It's a tie between Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros, but I'm better at Mario Kart, so therefore I like it more. To answer the anamorphic question, I have not, just because anamorphic lenses are super expensive, even to rent them. Especially with Red, you have to buy a specific mount. You have to buy the PL mount, and I don't own that. I only own the EF mount for Canon lenses. But yeah, no, I haven't done that. I'd like to do that in the future. To answer the commercial end of this question, I don't really do commercial work anymore, just because like it's not so much that I don't need to, like I don't need the money. It's more so just the fact that like it's a lot of stress that I don't need in my life, that I don't necessarily have to endure anymore, so I choose not to. Working commercial is difficult. It's not for the faint of heart, and you sort of have to steel yourself sometimes. But you know, it pays the bills. It definitely helps there, but at what cost? Okay, so now let's move on to the Twitter questions.
Aside from tech questions, favorite pair of shoes?
So my grail is the Chicago Off-White ones, which I have a whole video unboxing on this channel, which some of my subscribers hate me for. But that's beside the point. I enjoyed it. But yeah, no, that's my grail. That's the shoe that I love most in the whole entire collection. But I'd say the shoe that I wear most is not really like a hype sneaker in any way, shape, or form. It's Allbirds. I love Allbirds. But yeah, no, those are probably my most worn sneakers at the moment, and they're so comfortable.
What tools do you use to communicate, collaborate with the rest of the team? And what's the most challenging part of the creative process for you?
Low-key, a whiteboard. Get yourself a whiteboard. Not only is it good to communicate your vision to other people, but also it's great to get your ideas that are up here onto a physical format to see if the things that you're thinking are even actually making sense. I think, you know, the most challenging part for me in creating, like in a team sense, is like the things that you think up here, the way that you see things up here, nobody else is gonna see it the same way. But really, it's figuring out how to communicate those thoughts and that vision in a clear, concise way. I hope that answers your question.
Show us the apps you use the most.
So I'm not gonna do a what's on my phone because that's boring. I'd say some apps that I use the most on my phone that I don't necessarily like advertise that much. I use Fujicam, which is a great app for taking photos that have that like vintage look. And then Retrocam. Basically, it's a good app to filter photos that you've already taken to give a more vintage look. So it's Fuji, you take the photo and it gives it that vintage look, whereas Retro, you take an existing photo and give it that vintage look. I hope that makes sense. I love the Waze app. Low-key, probably one of the most used apps on my phone. I'm not gonna say that I speed a lot.
What software presets do you use to edit your photos?
I don't happen to use any but my own. Wow, that was super douchey.
You want to run it from the beginning again?
No, I'm keeping that. So this is basically my winkety wink. I am making my own preset pack for Lightroom. I use Lightroom, so this is my preset pack for Lightroom. It's gonna be called the Bending Light Pack. It's still sort of in the development phase. But, you know, in the coming months, that will be a thing, and as always, patrons will get first come, first serve to that preset pack. So check it out over there if you haven't already.
Perfect amount of douche.
Yep. I call it subtle douche.
Yeah. A splash of douche.
A splash of douche. A splattering of douchery.
Anywhere in particular you'd like to visit?
I want to visit Finland. I also want to visit Germany. And yeah, that's about it.
Can you please show me how to create a high quality YouTube video using low budget stuff? We'd love to see how you would have done
So I'm not really in a position to answer this question here. However, and this is a big however, if you head over to our Patreon, even at the $1 tier, you have access to this wonderful thing called Discord, where, you know, I hang out, Jake hangs out, as well as a whole bunch of other videographers, photographers, video makers of all types. And we're all there sort of having conversations, talking about the video making process, photography, all types of things. And, you know, basically, if you dropped in, had some questions, we'd be more than willing to discuss it. It's a really cool community over there, and we have a whole lot of fun, and we encourage you all to join the family. So that is it for this quick Q&A/channel update. Thank you all for watching. I will leave the link to the Patreon and my Twitter and my Insta all down here, but also in the description. That is where you can not only ask me questions, but have your questions answered. So yeah, with that, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.